Hello everybody and welcome back to another Revit modeling tutorial. We're going to be looking at how we can model a steel truss bridge. Let's go ahead and get started. Over here I've gone ahead and created a new project with the structure analysis GBRENU templates. I'm going to go ahead and continue. Right now I'm on the level 2 plan. I'm going to switch here to the south view and we have two levels, level 1 and level 2. Let your level 2 be at exactly 3 meters from level 1. If it's not, you can select it, click here and then type here 3000. I'm also as well going to click on the level line and then drag it out to make more room for my truss. Once I've done that, I'm going to come to the structures tab and we're going to be using the model line tool for the reference of the truss. I'll click on model line, and when we do that, mind me, this is on my second screen, we have the work plane tool come up. This work plane here, we're going to determine where we're going to draw our truss from. So we see we don't have a work plane available now, so I'm just going to go ahead and close this. I'll come back here into level 2 and create a work plane. So in this case here, I'll first of all create a grid line that I can use. I'll come here to the structures tab and I'll come here under datum and create a grid line. I'll create one grid line in this direction. I'll click on modify. Now this grid line here may not be able to serve as a reference plane, so I'll come here and click on reference plane here and then just draw a reference plane along this line. I'll come here, I'll click inside and I'll call this here truss 1. Okay, great. I'll press escape. Now if I come back here into the south view and I go ahead and click on model line, I can go ahead and pick that truss 1 reference plane and then click OK. I'm going to come here and start with a line. I'll come to this point, click and then draw a line, and I want to make sure it's at exactly 60 degrees. I'll click here and then I'll move downwards as well in 60 degrees. I'll press escape. With that being drawn, I'm going to make a selection over these two lines and I'm going to make a copy of it in 10 places. So I'm just going to go ahead and use copy from here, click here up to this point. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. When I'm done, I press escape. Alright, good. So this is going to be along the area where we'll create our truss. Let's go ahead and select the sections that we're going to use. We're going to be using a rectangular section, a rectangular hollow section. So let's go ahead and load that into the project. These are going to be structural framing elements. So I come to the structural tab here. I'll click on beam, and what I want to do is that I want to go ahead and click on load family. Okay, so I have it on my second screen as well. Okay, so here to load up on your main screen, I'm going to scroll down and look for structural framing. Open that up. I'm going to open up steel, and here I'm going to look for let's use the British standard, and I'm looking for RHS sections. Let's see if we have a RHS. There we go. So rectangular hollow sections, that is fine. I'll click on open, and here I'll pick the type I want to use. In this case, I'm going to scroll down and pick here the 300 RHS 300 by 200 by 10. So let's see, there we go. And I want to select the 150 110, 150 by 110. 150 110. There we go. So I'll hold down the control key and select this. So I have two selected. I'll go ahead and click OK to load it into the project. Once it's in the project, you see it's available here for me to pick. In this case here, I'm going to go ahead and switch it to the 300 200 by 10. Alright, great. Now I'm going to come back to the structures tab, and instead of using a beam, I'll go ahead and use a brace element instead. So I'll click on brace. Okay, so with the brace element selected, you can see that you only have one option to draw it, which is using a line. I'll make sure that the RHS 300 200 by 10 is active, and I want to make sure that my Z justification is set here to origin. If it's not, you want to set it here to center or origin. I'll come over here and start here, click to draw the beam, click here, and then I want to come over to this point and I want to make sure it's exactly at the end points. If it's not, you can press escape until you find the end points. I'll click here, move all the way to this direction, click here, press escape, click here, move all the way to this direction, make sure it snaps to this line, press escape, click here, and I move all the way to this direction and click here, then press escape. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the diagonal braces. In this case, I'm going to be switching it here from 300 to 100 by 10. I'll switch it here to 150 100 by 10. Alright, with that being said, I can go ahead and model, and it might be helpful to switch this from detail level from medium to coarse for the sake of just modeling. So I'll come here and place one here. I'll go ahead and continue. So I can press escape after drawing one. Just come and place another one, press escape, go ahead and place another. There we go. Okay, great. Now that we've established it, we can go ahead and select the two by holding down the control key to select this two. And you can see we have two selected. And if you can't see it properly, you want to turn off your thin lines, just to make sure you can see the elements much better, or temporarily just change it back here to medium. There we go. This is exactly what we want to see, and you want to copy it. So I'll switch this here back here to coarse. I'll select them again. I'll use CO for copy, and then I'll go ahead and paste it where I need it. So I've pasted one here. I'll paste another one here. There we go. And we have the last one here. It's not snapping. So in case you're having snapping issues, what you can do is you can right click on snap override, and I'm going to click on endpoints. There we go, and paste it where it's meant to be. Great. Now I can go ahead and switch this back here to medium to be sure that the frame is placed exactly as I want, and I can go ahead and create a default 3D view to see it properly. And there we go, we have our frame. We can also go to the level 2 as well and see where it's placed. I'll go ahead and click on the grid line, and I want to make sure that that's exactly where my frame is. So I'll just come and drag this downwards up to this point. There we go. Great. As well as the elevations, so I want it to fall in plane, so I can just go ahead and select the elevation like this, just the elevation line. So we have here two common, one elevation and one view. I'll go ahead and right click on it. I'll select all instances visible in view, and I can just click and drag them so it will place it along the center of my structure so I can see it from every view. So I'm going to place it somewhere around here, make a selection over this, and then just use my arrow keys to nudge it away. Use my arrow keys to nudge this one away from the structure. Just want to make sure that it's away. Then I'll select this, hold down control key, select this as well, and nudge it away as well. Great. In the 3D view, we see our structure properly. Let's hide the annotations. To hide the annotations, I'll just type VG for visibility graphics. I'll come to annotation categories, then turn this off, click on apply, and OK. Likewise as well, I'll go ahead and change this here to hidden line so we can see the actual structure in place. We're going to continue for where we last stopped, and we've gone ahead and created the truss on one side. We're going to do that on the other side. We're going to come here back to level 1, and what we're going to do is that we're going to create a copy of this grid line by 3500. So I just type CO for copy. I'll type here 3500, press enter. There we go. I'm going to make a copy of this truss here, so make a copy of all the elements. I want to go to the 3D view and make sure everything is selected, so we're still missing this, so I might as well just make a selection here. You'll also notice as well that you would also be copying the model lines as well, so that's fine. I'll select everything here. I'll type here CO for copy, click here, and you see they are constrained to this line, so I want to turn off the constraint tool and then make a copy in this direction. When I'm done, I just press escape. Great. Alright, I can as well also change this back here to coarse so I see exactly what I have. Okay, just as line objects. Now let's go back to the second floor plan. You can see as well it's been updated here, and that's good. We're going to go into the 3D view, and you can see as well it's also been updated. Let's go ahead and brace the elements. To do that, I'm going to switch this here for simplicity back here to the coarse view, and I'm going to be bracing them individually like this at the tops. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here back to the structures tab, and I'm going to click on the brace, and on the brace here I want to use the 150 100 by 10. Make sure that your Z of justification is set here to origin, and I'll turn on my 3D snapping because it's more convenient for me to do over here. I'll come over here to this point, click here, and then come here and place at this point. When I'm done, I just click on modify, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. If I switch it to medium, you can see we've braced it in this area. Alright, great. Now I can go and switch back by coming and switching this back here to coarse. I can select this line here, click on the top view, and I can make a copy to all other regions. Now it might be hard to see what is going on, so what you can do is you can go ahead and switch to this view, and then you can go ahead and click on copy. So CO, click here. So I'll copy from this point to this point, and you want to make sure that is the end point that you are referencing. There we go. There we go. Great. Then when you're done, you press escape. If I orbit around, you can see here that we pressed it. We did all of that with the exception for the start and the end. In this case, we are going to be using a different section. So if I switch it back here to medium, I want to use a section which is basically the same as this for this area, which is the 300 200 by 10. So I'll select this. I can type here CS to bring it up. Make sure that 3D snapping is turned on as well. And just for simplicity, switch here back to coarse. I'll click here and click on this point to place the beam. When I'm done, I'll press escape. I can switch here back to medium, and you can see that that particular member has been placed. Alright, now in this case here, we want to rotate it. I'm going to have to rotate the beam, and this is not the direction that I want, so I'll select it as it is here, and I'll go ahead and change the cross-section rotation. I'll change it here to, let's say, 60 degrees. And when I do that, you can see it should fall or align. No, that's not it. So I'll change it here to 30. There we go. So that is aligned. So we're going to do the same thing here as well. So I might as well just go ahead and select this. Type here CS. There we go. And you can as well leave it like this. Just make sure you are on the endpoints. I'll just come here. And you can see it's a bit hard to snap to the endpoints here. You just have to orbit until you find the point. There we go. Press escape. So I'll select this here and I'll type here, let's say 30 degrees. If that's wrong, so let's say 60. That's wrong as well. Let's say minus 60. I hope that works. Oops, that's not it. Let's see, that should be the 30, I believe. Okay, so it's in the wrong direction. So 60. Let's see, so we have 0 here. There we go. So we want to rotate this direction. So let's say minus 60. Okay, minus 30 rather. Minus 30. Great. So now it's in the right direction. Great. Now we want to do one more thing. We want to add diagonal braces at the plan rep. So let's see how we can do that. We're also going to be using this same section as well. 150, 100 by 10. I'll go ahead and switch this here back here to coarse. So I'll select this, type here CS. I'll come over here to this endpoint. Very important to pick the endpoints. And then I go ahead and snap to this endpoint as well. Click here. Then click on this endpoint. Then come over here and click here. When you're done, press escape. I'll come here and switch here. Oops, I always come here. So I'll click here and you can see this is basically the bracing that we want. So I'll hold down the control key and select it too. This is what we want. And we want to repeat the same thing as well for the other direction. So I'll just go ahead and click on the front here. And you can see the area where we're copying it from. Just like this. So we want to make sure that we're careful when we're copying. I'll come here and switch this back here to coarse. Type CO. Oops, I don't have it selected again. So I want to select this too. There we go. Or we can actually do that from the top. Actually, it's much more convenient. So type CO. There we go. Make sure it is this endpoint. Then go ahead and paste it at their respected endpoints. You have to be sure. Great. So this endpoint here, this endpoint here, this endpoint here, and this endpoint. There we go. So we have one more extra. We can go ahead and delete that. And now if we switch this here back to our medium, we can see we have properly braced the structure both on the vertical and the horizontal side. We're going to go ahead and model the deck structural beam system for the steel bridge truss. Now to do that, we're going to switch here to the level 1 plan. And in the level 1 plan, basically we can see all the beams, how they were placed, and at this point is exactly where it starts. We're going to reference these two grid lines here, as this here is just showing you the positions of where they are for detailing. But if you switch here, for instance, to medium, you see the exact position. So it's all about the visibility states. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and bring in another section. I'm going to come to the structures tab. I'm going to come here and click on the beam tool, that's structural framing, load family. I'm still going to pick the rectangular hollow section. I'll click on open, and I'm going to be bringing in two more types. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to pick here 100 by 50 by 8. I'm going to select 100 by 50 by 8. I'm certain we do have that. There we go. And no, 100 by 50 by 8. Wait, this is it. Or 100 by 50, yeah, that's it. And then 250 by 100 by 10. So 250 by 100 by 10. 250, 100 by 10. I just saw it right now, unless my eyes deceive me. 250. Okay, so we only have 250, 150. So let's say 250, 150 by 10 instead. So 250, 150 by 10. There we go. And then we go ahead and click on OK. So we imported it in. Alright, I'm going to come back to the structures tab, and instead of using the beam, I'm still going to go ahead and use the brace system instead. I'll switch here and use the 250, 150 by 10. Now I'm just going to place this one here at this endpoint. Click here and make sure it's all the endpoints at this point as well, and click here. We can go to the 3D view and see exactly what we've modeled. In level 1 as well, I'll do the same thing at this other end. So I'll come here and click on brace, and here I'm going to come to this point, endpoints, click here as well, and place them in view. The next thing we're going to do is that we're going to measure the span of the truss. So to do that, I'll just go ahead and type DI for dimension. I'll move over here to the center of this, then I move all the way to the end and then find the center, and then we have a total span of about 34,641. Alright, and we have 10 panels if you remember correctly. So what we're going to do is that we're going to divide it into 10 panels on this plan as well, where we'll be having some of our primary beams to send the loads to the trusses on both ends. To do that, what we're going to do is that we're going to go ahead and create a brace in this direction. So I'll go ahead and select this one like this, type CO, and I'll click here and move it this direction, and I'll put here 3464.1. Alright, so that is 34641 divided by 10. So I go ahead and press enter and place this here. If I go to my 3D view, that which we created, you can see it's placed it exactly at the point where it's meant to be. In this case here, I'm going to go ahead and change this section to the 100 by 50 by 8. So I'll come here and switch here to 100 by 50 by 8. There we go. This is exactly what I need here, and I'll do that as well for the other spans. I'll come back here into level 1, and I'll go ahead and then just make a copy all the way down. So I'll just come here, type CO, there we go, and I just specify any base points of my choice. Then I'll come here, we have here 3464.1. okay, and then I'll just go ahead and press enter. So add the same spacing as well. Another good tip you can do is you can go ahead and actually copy with a base point. So I select this, for instance, type here CO, then I go ahead and specify the midpoints, then I go ahead and paste in this direction, and I can continue until it's exhausted. I particularly like this method instead of using an array, because I'm setting that it will actually be connected to the point where I need it to be. So here, we're just going to come here. There we go. This should be the last. Great. I can check the 3D view as well to be sure that I have my beams where they are meant to be. Alright. Now we're going to place a structural system in between all panels. If I come to the level 1 plan view here, I'm going to do that by going over here to the structures tab. I'll click on beam system, and under beam system here, I'm going to go ahead and specify a boundary. I'll come here and specify this midpoint here. I'll come over here to this end. I want to make sure it's along the center. There we go. And I need to specify the direction. So this is the direction I want. So in case it's not, you want to click on beam direction and click on this line. And here we're going to specify the layout rule. We'll leave it on fixed distance, set the fixed spacing here to 300, and then for the beam type here, we're going to set it here to use the, let's go ahead and use the 150 by 8. Alright, Now we don't want to tag the members in view. Oops, not this. So I'll go over here and turn this here to none. There we go. And when we're done, we just go ahead and click on finish. If I go to the 3D view, you can see the beams have been placed, but they've been placed with the Z justification at the bottom. So I'll select one of them. I can go ahead and right click. I can click on select similar. That is select all instances rather, visible in the view or entire project in this case. And I'll go ahead and set this Z justification here to center, so they fall on the same plane. Great. Now I'm going to copy this structural beam system. I'll come here to level 1 and just go and find the edge where it is, just like this, and I'll make copies to the other directions. So I can just go and select that, click on copy, specify this point here, and then paste it where I need it to be. There we go, we have one here. And the last one, there we go. I'll come back here into the 3D view to inspect. I'm going to look at the soffit, orbit downwards, to be sure everything is correct. So I can clearly see here that some of them are okay, rather all of them are being modeled correctly. Just want to be sure. Great, so they are all on the same plane. So just to be sure, you can right click, select all instances, the entire project, and then make sure the Z sub justification here is set here to center, just in case. Alright, great. So we've gone ahead and done the framing for the floor. Let's go ahead and continue. We're almost done with our structure. We want to place a bearing wall here to support this girder here at this end and the other at the other end as well. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go over here into the level 1 plan and locate this beam here. Alright, what we're going to do is come here to the structures tab, and in the structures tab here we're going to go ahead and create a grid line in this direction. So we have 1, 2 here. So let's go ahead and make grid line A along here. So just going to come here and create another grid line in this direction. And here I'm just going to drag the extent downwards. There we go. So I have some sort of reference. I'll click here to change it to A. I'll type CS to create similar, or I can just type GR for grid line. And I'll place another one in this direction. As you can see, it's labeled it automatically to be B. There we go. Now that we have our reference, let's go ahead and draw our bearing wall. I'm going to come to the structures tab and click on wall. I'm going to be using the generic 200 mm for this example, and I'm going to start somewhat around here for the bearing wall. So I'll click on this endpoint and I'm going to leave it at let me just press escape first, depth unconnected to 3000, so that's below level 1. So I'll leave it as the default and then go here, click and create my bearing wall. There we go. Likewise as well, I'm going to create a bearing wall in this direction, but I'm going to do that by changing the location line here to finish face exterior. I'll click on this end here and I want it to be in this direction, and I'll go ahead and draw a bearing wall to be about, let's say, 2 meters in this direction. There we go. Great. And I want these walls to meet with each other, so I can just come to the 3D view and I can make sure they meet. So I'll select this one here so I can find the grip points. I'll click on it and drag it out so it meets with this wall. I'll come back here into level 1, select this here, and I can go ahead and mirror it to the other side by using the mirror draw axis. So I find the midpoint, click in this direction, and there we go. I can move to any of the walls, press the tab key to select the chain, and once I've selected the chain, I can mirror to the other direction as long as I know the midpoints. And the midpoint should be somewhat around here. So I can just come here, mirror, draw axis, then I'll locate the center of this beam here, click and then draw downwards. Then I have this beam in this other direction. Great, so this is exactly what we want to achieve. Alright, now the last thing we want to do for this particular tutorial is to go ahead and put our sub connections. We're going to be using simple weld connections for this beam bridge, truss bridge rather. And to do that, we're going to apply some meter connections. I'm going to come over here to the steel tab, and under the steel tab here, you're going to see parametric cuts. You're going to see the meter connection. I'll select this one here. I'll go over here to this end, hold down the control key, select this and select this, and I'm going to press enter, and automatically it's going to go ahead and place that type of connection for the two members. It's going to take some time to generate, and once it's done, you see it will be fine. Alright, great. So this is the connection we want. To select the connection, you can go ahead and click on it like this, and you can see this is a meter connection. Now I want to do this as well to other similar connections as well. As you can see, if I select this, and if I go ahead and right click, I can click on select connected elements, and you can see these are the two elements that are concerned. I can also as well come to the connection, select it, right click, and you see this option to propagate connection to similar connected elements. While this does have its advantages, you can quickly find areas that have similar connections. You want to be careful how you use this. Let's go ahead and click on propagate connection and see if it identifies the other connections in the project. There we go. So you can see it's placed it here. That's fine. You can see as well that it's also placed it at this corner, and that's what we want as well. We're going to come over here to this corner here. That has placed it here. That has placed it here. It has placed it here. And just go ahead and orbit around, and it has placed this here as well, and this is exactly what we want. I want to quickly adjust something I just realized. So we want this wall here to be below this beam. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go ahead and switch here. Let me click on this wall first. I'll click here and switch here to the right view, and I'll go ahead and drag the extent downwards. I want it to be exactly at this point, so I'll just drag it back up. There we go. So we have a wall that has a top offset of 125. So I can do the same thing as well for this wall here. Top offset minus 125. If I click on apply, you can see it's been adjusted. Great. Alright. Likewise as well, we have these beams here. Seems to be control coming out a bit. So let's go ahead and give it a Z offset value of minus 50. Great, so it falls into place. That's much better. I'll select this one as well, give it a Z offset value of minus 50. There we go, and that is much better looking. Alright, let's go ahead and add another connection. We're going to add what we refer to as a cut through connection for this beam to this beam here. And to do that, we're going to come back to the steel tab, and we're going to click on the cut through under parametric cuts. I'll select this beam here, and I'll hold down the control key rather to select another member, this vertical brace here, or rather this diagonal brace. I'll go ahead and press enter, and I'll wait for it to load. As you can see, this is how it's placed. In this case here, we're going to change the position of the cuts, so I'll make this primary, and now you can see it's cut in the right plane. While this is referred to as an element contour, you can see that the connection is here. It just move over here. If I click on it, you can see that is the connection itself, sub connection. I can right click on it, and I can click on propagate connection to add it to similar regions in my project. And you can see that it's done right now. So if I zoom out, you see the other regions as well where that sub connection was placed, and it's gone pretty much around the whole project. And as you can see, it's still highlighted as blue, so it's still calculating. And you can basically see the connection shapes. If I switch it here, the visual style here to wireframe, you can see where all those connections were placed. I'll switch this here back here to hidden line for now. And if we don't want to see the sub connections as it is, we can change this here to fine, making it a much easier view to look at. Likewise as well, we can see here that this wall on this side here is not aligned properly. Let me quickly change it here to medium so we can see that. So what we're going to do is that we're going to align the face of this wall to the face of this particular beam. And to do that, I'll just come to the structures. Going to come over here to the modify tab rather, and I'll click on the align tool. Shortcut is AL, by the way. So I'll click on this face here, then I'll align it to the face here, and that is exactly what I want to achieve. And then the same thing as well I'll do for this particular beam. So I'll click here, oops, not here, Ctrl Z. So I'll just click here, and then I'll click on this face. There we go, and this is exactly what we want to achieve. Great, so we want it to go straight like this, down, while this one as well, we want it as well to go straight down in this direction. So we can go ahead and click on this disallow join to allow it to go straight down like the other one did. I'll click on this one as well. I'll disallow the join. That is this button here. to allow it to go down. There we go. And likewise as well, we want it to go through the whole beam. So let's just click on the top view so we can see it properly. And just going to drag this wall end here. There we go. And that's exactly how we want it to look like in real life. Let's switch this here back here to fine to make it much easier to look. And we're done modeling our truss bridge. Let's go ahead and add some bearing support here to these walls. And to do that, I'll come to the structures tab and I'll come over here and click on wall under foundation. I'll come here and click on, we have retaining footing, we have bearing footing. Let's pick bearing footing. And without specifying a type for now, I'm just going to go ahead and select this wall, and this wall to place support. Alright, the same thing as well. I'll go ahead and select this, and just orbit around and select this. And here we have, let me just press escape. We have basically a wall that doesn't seem to be connected. So I'll just go ahead and select this, click on the top view, and try to drag the extent out so we can have it connected properly. There we go. This one as well. Nope, that's the beam I'm selecting. So I want to select this wall here. Click on the top view. There we go. I'm just going to drag the wall end so it connects with this. There we go. So you can see it is connected properly and we have it supported well. Now that we're done with the modeling, let's go ahead and give it a very nice presentation style. We're going to be working on the 3D view. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to switch the visual style to shaded. Already we see a very huge improvement in the visual quality. I'm going to come here as well, come to graphic display options, and I'm going to come over here and turn on my ambient shadows. I'll turn on my shadows as well. I'll click on apply and we can see we have some sort of change in the background. I'm going to come here to background as well. I'm going to come over here and set it here to gradient. I'm going to select one color throughout. So I'm just going to select this one here and I'm just going to switch it to something a bit darker. There we go. I'll add it to the swatch as an override. Click OK. And I'll set it as well for the horizon color and the ground color as well. I'll also come here to lighting and then I'm just going to go over ahead and reduce the intensity of shadow to somewhere probably around 25. That's fine with me. And I'm going to click on apply and you can see what has happened in the background. Likewise as well, I'm also going to change the position of where the shadows are. So to do that, I'm just going to come here to the sun part, click on it, and I'm going to click here on sun settings. Over here, we see the ground plane is set here to level 1. And what I'll do is that instead of setting it to ground plane, I'll just turn it off and click on apply. So it's wherever it is. So we have a better display of shadows on the structure. I'll click OK. Great. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color for or the pattern for all the members or model categories in this structure. And to do that, I'm going to come to visibility graphics overrides from the properties panel. I'll click on edit. Just going to wait for that to load up. And under model categories here, I'm just going to come here and expand all so I get every single model category. So in case anything else is coming inside here, that particular graphic override would apply to it as well. I'll click on all and then just wait for it to select everything. And here for the patterns, I'm just going to go ahead and select any of them that is available for override. So I'll select this one for casework, for instance. Even though it's turned off, it will apply to everything in question. And I'll go ahead and click on override. And I'm going to set this here color. I'll go ahead and change it here to white. So just probably off white a bit. So just going to drag it down a bit. There we go. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to click OK here and I'll click on apply. And then you see the huge visual difference when you click on apply. Great. So you can see how our structure looks much better. For the walls as well, you can see they still appear as gray. So I'll just select one of this for instance. And I'll click on edit type. And I'm going to click on edits. And you can see here, this is the material that is used by category. So I'm just going to click here to edit it. And here, I'm just going to go ahead and load a material that we can actually use. So why not say C2025? There we go. I'm going to load in C25. I'm just going to load this into the project. There we go. Select this here. And I'll click OK. And I'll click OK. And I'll click OK again. And now that particular has a material of choice. So if we don't want it to appear as gray, what we can do is we can select one of it, right click, override graphics in view by category. We're just going to wait for that to load up. And then for the surface pattern here, we're just going to set it here to solid fill. And you can see the override here is already there. There we go. If we click OK, we can now see here that the whole structure has this very consistent looking washout feel. Not necessarily, but very nice for presentation. And that's how you model a steel truss bridge in Revit. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. For more videos on steel structure modeling in Revit, check out our full structural design course using the link in the description of the video. See you in the next video.